Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys checking out today's video and spending some time with me. And guys, today we're going to be talking about something you don't hear much about on the channel. We're going to be talking about drop shots and drop shot leader lengths, how far of a leader that you have on your drop shot. And I got to be honest with you guys, a drop shot, like I said, is not one of my favorite baits, but I learned how to fish it really good from the master himself, Aaron Martins. Aaron was always telling me, he goes, Randy, you guys, you got to be throwing a drop shot more. You need to have that drop shot on every single tournament. And I learned a ton about drop shot fishing from Aaron. I'm sort of going to pass along some of that wisdom to you guys today in the video. Also, guys, for get started, just a quick invitation. I'd like to, first of all, thank everybody that has been hitting that subscribe button. And I'd like to invite everybody, if you're interested in supporting Intuitive Angling, to hit that subscribe button. It's a good way to help the channel. And also, guys, thank you very much for everybody that's been using all my tackle warehouse links, Fish the Moment, Lake Map Breakdown links that I put in each video description. You guys are doing your part to help the channel. I really appreciate it. And guys, also I'll link some of my favorite drop shot components in my tackle warehouse link in this video here if you guys would like to get it set up one, because I got specific equipment that I use. Okay guys, so let's talk a little bit. I want to talk about drop shot leader length as the primary focus, and then I'm going to give you guys just a few, extra bonus tips on fishing drop shot in today's video. Now, first of all, this is probably the length that most people fish it, about a foot or foot and a half. It seems like most people do it. But guys, like I said, Aaron is the one that taught me all this stuff. I fish drop shot leader lengths from anywhere between 2 inches, something like that, up to like 3 or 4 feet, maybe 4 feet off the bottom, and everything in between. Now, how you determine the leader length on a drop shot, it depends on a lot of different factors. It depends on the water clarity, the type of structure that you're fishing, sort of the mood and the personality of the fish, how the fish are setting up. So let's talk a little bit about, how you want to pick or how you want to decide the length of the leader. Now, first of all, the times that you want to use a short leader, and when I'm talking about a short leader, I'm talking about something where, the weight itself is no longer than your worm. This is a 4-inch zoom finesse worm here. They're 4 inches long, or 4.5 inches long, almost 5 inches long. And then if you have your drop shot sinker shorter than the worm, this is considered a short drop shot length. Now, the times that you want to use a short leader, like a really short leader, for me anyway, and what Aaron taught me, is about when you're casting and pitching a drop shot around some type of shallow cover. Now, a drop shot is not just for spinning outfits. You can use a drop shot on a bait caster. I think they call it power shotting. A lot of people refer to that. That's you're using heavier line, a little bit bigger hook. But anytime that you're casting around shallow targets, so let's say, for example, the fish are in less than 3 or 4 foot of water and they're highly pressured. They don't bite a lot of stuff, but they will bite a drop shot. You can take a drop shot on a light sinker, like a 1/16 or an 1/8 ounce sinker, and put like a 2 or 3 inch leader on it. And you can pitch it and cast it around like boat dock piers, shallow grass, stumps in the water, something, anywhere where the fish are in really shallow water. And it's a little bit more efficient that way. The worm is still free of the weight, yet it's only a little bit off the bottom. And since it's shallow, it doesn't have to be very far off the bottom. So if I'm fishing shallow cover, like the cover I'm fishing is less than 3 foot deep, a lot of times I'm using that little bitty short leader. And really, the short leader is my favorite way. Out of all the drop shot fish that I've caught, the 2 types of drop shot fishing I've done more than anything else are fishing for suspended fish and those shallow fish like that. Now, also, if you're fishing for suspended fish with a drop shot, the short leader is also effective. There's no reason to have a long leader if you're fishing open water for suspended fish. Now, like one of the favorite things I like to do at Table Rock is in the summertime of the year, the fish will suspend in the top of the treetops there. And you can actually get over those fish vertically with a drop shot and just jig that drop shot right over the top of those trees in like 20 to 30 foot of water. And in that situation, I'll have a little bitty short drop shot. Seems like it works pretty well. Now, the next setup I use with it, I really only have basically 3 different leader lengths that I fish on there. The short one that's no longer than worm, and then the second one, which is what we have here, which is about, a 15-inch leader, something like that, 1.5 foot, right around 1.5 foot leader. This is probably the most efficient way to fish a drop shot as far as leader length. for the most diversity of conditions. So the times that I'm fishing, the average length on there, like a 1.5 leader, is just when I'm casting that drop shot into the medium depth. So let's say, for example, I'm fishing secondary or main lake points, and you know, say my boat's in 20 foot of water, the water visibility is 3 or 4 feet, and I expect those fish to sort of be in that really that, you know, maybe 8 to 15 foot range. A 1.5 leader works perfect. You can cast it easy. It gets the worm up off the bottom a little bit. It's just really, really efficient. That's probably how I use it, you know, most in those medium depths. And then the third, where you have a long leader. Now this is a situation where your leader is maybe 4 feet, 3 or 4, maybe even 5 feet above it. This situation is like, there's a couple different scenarios for it. It's for fishing over some type of submergent grass. If you're fishing over submergent grass, say you've got hydrilla or milfoil that's growing a couple feet off the bottom, having that longer drop shot leader, once you figure out the height of the grass to get that bait above the grass, is going to be a really good way to catch it. And also, I have found out in really deep water, especially for smallmouth on this situation, all you guys that fish up the Great Lakes like Lake Erie and Ontario, this is something you need to remember. If you're fishing water depths greater than 30 feet, I like to go to a really long drop shot. It just seems like I get more bites. That's another thing that Aaron taught me from fishing up on Lake Erie with him, is to use that longer drop shot leader, you know, when you're fishing deep. So sometimes, like in the fall time of the year, I'll fish a drop shot 45 to 60 feet deep on the bottom, actually, you know, once that thermocline dissipates. And I don't know what it is about it. Just maybe those fish are just, when they're that deep, they're just off the bottom or something, but it just seems like you catch more. And it's not real easy to cast a 4 foot drop shot leader, but most of the time when I do fish a drop shot that deep, I am fishing vertical, like over drops or over the top of fish or some type of structure. So I'm just sort of pitching it in front of the boat. But that's probably the least common leader length that I use, is the super long one. So like I said, it's just all relative to the situation that you're in. Now, a couple other tips that I'll give you on here, guys, is there's actually two. I'll have to show you guys this with a different hook, but most of the time when I'm fishing a drop shot, I do like to fish a Texas rig. And I'll just come through. I got a straight shank Gamakatsu #1 G finesse treble hook, which I'll link in the description here, along with the finesse worms. But most of the time I'll just, you know, Texas rig it, and I'll bring the worm out the backside where it's just like that, and I'll just, you know, leave it open. That's probably my favorite way to fish it, because you can fish it in a lot of different scenarios. But another way that I like to fish it, and one of the way that Aaron showed me, especially for spotted bass, or if you're fishing around for some suspended fish, just hook the drop shot in the nose like that. Just hook your worm hook right in the middle, you know, just up on the end for open water. But another way to fish it is if you're have a little bit of snaggy cover, like some timber or brush piles underneath the water, and you still want to nose hook it, come in about 1/4 of an inch below the head and put the hook in just like that. And make sure that the point is not, make sure the point's not sticking through it. So I've actually come in and it's just sitting like that. That makes it weedless. And the presentation's a little bit different than if you Texas rig it. It just seems like for spotted bass or real clear water situation, this is the way I like to rig it. And when I'm fishing for suspended fish in clear water, I don't use the longer straight shank hook. I use the more of the traditional drop shot hook, the shorter shank drop shot hook, but that's for demonstration purposes. That's how I like to use it like that. And I do like the cylindrical weight here. It just seems like, you know, they come through, you know, cover a little bit better. It seems like I like that a little bit better than the round ones here. But anyway, guys, it seems like you haven't heard much about the drop shot the last couple of years. It just seems like that jig head minnow is just taking over everything. But a drop shot is an unbelievable fish catcher. It catches fish in any condition: muddy water, dirty water, stained water, clear water. There's something about that presentation that's subtle that the fish really respond to it. And even though it is a really, versatile, diverse bait, I just don't like fishing it. I mean, there's something about the thing. I would rather fish a Ned rig or a shaky head. I just do not like fishing a drop shot unless they are really biting a drop shot where you have to fish it in a situation like that. But out of that whole category of finesse type stuff, shaky head's my probably favorite. But like I said, Aaron was always on my butt to fish the drop shot more all the time. I just couldn't really bring myself to do it as much as he did. So anyway, guys, give it a try. Hope it helps you guys catch a few, and we'll talk later.